Hey guys. So I guess let's talk about civil and administrative law. It's so much fun. Actually, I didn't mind this chapter too much. Of course, just like the text says, it's not quite as sexy as criminal law, so I think it kind of gets pushed to the wayside because it just doesn't seem to be quite as exciting for most people. And it was interesting to learn because I don't know a lot about civil law, not hardly any about civil law. So this was an interesting chapter. Um, I work for the Medicaid Fraud Control Unit here in Virginia out of the Attorney General's office. And we have a civil unit that works hand in hand with us also. So like for us, if we have a case that we cannot bring criminal charges against, but they still, if it was a company and they've still done something wrong towards the Medicaid program, then our civil unit sometimes can pick that up and can still recover monies that were paid out by Medicaid to this company or a doctor or any kind of facility like that. So really, that's about the only um, little bit that I know about civil, other than just the things that you kind of encounter when you're an officer, as far as property and land and evictions and stuff like that. Of course, we you have to deal with some of that when you're an officer, even though you don't advise anything on civil issues. You strictly tell them it's a civil issue. We can't help with that. Um, so there's that. One question that I had, and I'm hoping that Dr. Edwards can clear this up, is the adverse possession part under real property. So it's talking about how someone else can actually take over possession of someone else's real property if it's not being used. If I think it said for 7 years, if the person has used it now for 7 years. So I'm just is that like, and I may be completely off base, but let's say you have a house that's been abandoned and some person just goes in and squats in it and say they live there for 7 years. Is that what this is talking about? Or I guess I'm just completely confused about that. So that's definitely one question I had. Um, the other thing I wanted to talk about, not necessarily a question, but was the sex offender civil commitment video. Um, just I thought it was really interesting um, because I personally believe that these commitment centers exist because of the public's emotional response to these crimes. Um, I understand that high recidivism is these types of offenders need treatment. I get that, and I understand that certain kind of treatments are better than others. But my issue that I would have with the civil commitment is that you're taking these people completely out of society and putting them in this little bubble, giving them treatment, and of course they have no release date. So how do you determine when someone is suitable for release if they are not engaging with the public and can show that they're no longer a danger? I think I feel like that um, is a lot like our drug court system. I think that, and sometimes even probation and parole, I think that they are set up for these people to fail. Um, I'm completely off subject, but I'm working a case right now where the my target is he's participating in a drug court um, thing from a drug arrest that he had. This man has to go to treatment 5 days a week. Some days there are two or three different treatments on the same date. He has no license, but yet they want him to also have a job, and he also has to perform some kind of community service. I'm like, how can he do this? How does he even get to his treatments and stuff? He's going to have to rely on someone else to do this for him to get him there. So I feel that's a lot like this. I can't understand how you can take someone completely out of that setting or out of the public setting into this sterile little bubble, give them treatment, and then expect for them to be able to reintegrate back into society and be successful. I think to me that is just completely setting them up to fail. But that's just my opinion. I just wonder if anyone else thinks that this is going to continue to be considered constitutional. I just wonder at what point will someone actually raise this to the Supreme Court level again? I'm assuming it already has. Um, but I just wonder if this will ever be seen as unconstitutional. Because I don't know. I guess I have feelings about this, as you can tell. um, but other than that, learning about the different types too of the administrative laws, I thought were interesting. Of course, we have the administrative laws in place to help protect us, to help safety and health, and all that. And I think there can be too much regulation, but I think also sometimes you got to have regulations, because if not, you're going to have these businesses just running amok and doing whatever they want to. Um, so I guess that's about all I had to talk about. I didn't really have any questions about it, but again, I thought it was an interesting chapter and can't wait to hear what everybody else thinks. Thanks. Have a great day.